All right, here we go. This one's going to be a 10mm test. And today we have some double tap ammo to try out. So the one on the left is the 125 grain SCHP. It is a solid copper hollow point. It does have a huge hollow point cavity. Standard brass case, and that one's rated at 1600 feet per second. And for the one on the right, that one is the 135 grain controlled expansion. That one also has a pretty large hollow point cavity. Your same standard brass case, and that is also rated at 1600 feet per second. And that is out of a 5-inch barrel. And we have tested this in the past out of a 5-inch, and we got right as advertised. So definitely some warm stuff. So today we're going to be going out of our short barrel Glock 29. That one does have a 3.78-inch barrel. And we're going to be going through our gel. That is a 10% block. We do have our catch block behind that, so a total of 22 inches of gel. Our 4 layers of cotton t-shirt on the front. Like always, we'll set up our chronograph so we can hopefully pick up those impact velocities. So let's set up and see how these rounds do head to head. First one up will be that 125 grain. All right, we're stepping back to 15 feet. All right, let's see what we did on that one. So our impact velocity on that one was 1,530 feet per second, and that one was a 125 grain, so pretty close to what we just got for our last 357 SIG test. Not too bad at all. Definitely good to see those numbers out of that short barrel 10. All right, so there is that entry on that one. Looks like you got a perfect hit. And that one has a huge hole you can see right down in there. That one did have that huge hollow point cavity, so it looked like it took a bunch of that gel with it, but you can see right down in that. Pretty cool. But we do have a pretty big star pattern so far. So let's check it out from the top. Oh yeah, that is a huge stretch. Hopefully you guys can see this. This block is a little bit cloudy, but still should be pretty good. But did a ton of damage to that block. I actually did have to move the second one because it did dip down. We did actually make it into our table. I just dug it out. We were able to catch it, which is good, but definitely messed up our table once again. But not too bad. So let's see what kind of measurement we have on this one. So this is a huge stretch. So we are right at, let's see, about 3.5 inches of stretch on that from the top. So really good to see. And let's check it out from the side. And it looks like same thing from the side. Pretty much as soon as that thing came in, opened up immediately. Got some huge energy dump right there at the beginning. It looks like it carried about maybe halfway through the block, and then we did actually get some fragmentation. Some of those petals did end up ripping off, and then it looked like it dove down pretty good. And then that's where it did make it into our table. It looked like it barely hit the very bottom of our second one, but it did dive down pretty good. So let's see our measurement down here. I'm not going to count these petals that are kind of shooting off. We'll just get the majority of the big stretch, and same thing, about 3¼ inches. So not too bad on that one. Quite a bit of damage. And then like I said, we did make it into our table. If it wouldn't have dove down, it probably would have got pretty good penetration into that second one, but it went pretty good. We went about, let's see, about 2.5 inches into our table. It hit right here, ended up right here, so not too bad at all. So let's set up for that 135 grain and see how that one does. All right, before I do that next one, I did want to show you that stretch from the top, just in case we do kind of collide with this one, which you can see those petals that are all shearing off all over the place. And it did have a huge stretch cavity. It took up more than half that block, so we're probably not going to be able to get it on this side. So I'm actually going to come in from the opposite way because we have a little bit more area, just in case we do get quite a bit of damage. So let's see how it does. All right, we're stepping back to 15 feet. right, let's see what we did on that one. All right, so impact velocity on that one was 1357, so definitely not 16 as advertised, but still not too bad. I believe we had a 40 the other day, you know, passed that up pretty good even out of a short barrel. So not the best, but still not the worst. All right, so there is that entry. Looks like I got another good hit on this one, and pretty much same as that last one. You can see right down in there. That one also had a pretty wide hollow point cavity, so you can see a nice star pattern so far. So let's check it out from the top. Oh yeah, definitely not too bad. Not as huge as that last one, but still pretty good. It looks like it carried that energy pretty far actually. And then we did not make it into that second one. You can actually see that round resting there right before that second block. So let's see what kind of measurement we have on this one. So at our widest spot here, we are about 2 3/4. So not too bad, but still, you know, pretty darn good. So let's check it out from the side. And same thing from the side. So as soon as that thing came in, started opening up pretty much immediately, dumping quite a bit of energy, about 2/3 of that block. And then you can see where it started to settle down, a little bit of fragmentation, and then you can see where that round's resting. I will test some underwood soon, just so we can see, you know, what kind of numbers we get on those out of the short barrel. But these did pretty darn good, especially that 125 grain. So let's see what kind of measurement we have from the side for this one. So at our widest, we are at about 2.5 inches, so not too bad. A little less from the side than the top, but still pretty good. And then you can actually see that round. It looks like we did get jacket core separation, and we did not make it into that second one. So we made it a total of 11 inches of penetration. So let's check these out one more time from the top. So the one on the right going away from us is that 125 grain, and this one on the left coming towards us is the 135 grain. So you can see that one came in, pretty much exploded, dumping a ton of energy. You can see those petals kind of dropping off, and then did start to settle down, and then we made it into our table. Not quite the second block, but still pretty good. And here is this other one. You can see the same thing with that one. Came in, started opening up, has a pretty good stretch. Not too bad, dumping quite a bit of energy. You see some nice spiral cuts going through, and then it did start to slow down a little bit. There's quite a few fragments going on, and then we barely made it out of that first block. So not too bad at all. So let's pull these rounds and see what they look like. All right, check these things out. Looks like they both got some really good expansion. So the one on the right is at 125, the one on the left is at 135. So here is that 125. Was that solid copper round. You can see open up really nicely. Definitely went to its breaking point, sheared off all those petals. There's only 2 left. When I have tested this out of the full size, it usually rips them all off, so this definitely can withstand that high velocity, but still did pretty darn good. Pretty major expansion. And then we do have one of our petals sitting there also, and then there is a few more here in the gel. We'll pull all those out here at the end. And then here is that 135. So you can see same thing with this one, made it to its breaking point, kind of pancaked out, but definitely got some pretty major expansion all the way to the base. And then here is that jacket, same thing with that one. Peeled right back, peeled those petals right over the base of that. There's a little bit of lead kind of sticking in there, but definitely not too bad. And same thing with that one. I'll pull all this stuff out because there is quite a bit of fragments here at the end of that track. But here they are one time from the back, from the bottom. So there's that 125, and here is that 135. And last time from the top. So like I said, like always, we will get our screenshots and all that good stuff here at the end. But there we go, guys. That one was that double tap 125 grain solid copper versus the 135 grain controlled expansion. There we go. Thanks for watching. All right, and here's that cross section for that 125 grain. So this one was definitely pretty impressive. We got some pretty major splits going on. Not as distinct as they normally get them, but still really huge. It kind of tore a chunk out of there. And same on this side. Really nasty cut. So I did remeasure this. At the peak, it's right at about 4 inches, and we're averaging probably about 3 3/4. So you know, it was moving out pretty good, so really good to see there. So let's cut it open. All right, and here's after being cut. So this bottom is the right side, this top is the left. So this one right at the 1/4 inch mark came in, started to open up. This one did fragment pretty bad. When I do test it, you know, normally out of the full size, it usually strips all those petals off. So pretty normal there, but it was moving out pretty darn good out of that short bow. Look at the amount of damage that's going on. You can see kind of how deep those cuts, and then just the kind of the tracks kind of shooting off from all those petals going everywhere, but crazy amount of damage. And I usually say this with the 124 grain SIG. Every time it basically looks like a rifle round came in, even from these handguns that is doing so much damage. So here's the top, same thing, came in, opened up, huge stretch going all the way through, and you can see kind of like a, you know, a valley, a little channel going on all the way through. It pretty much tore that gel out, but massive, massive damage going on. You can see right here, it almost turned it backwards. These chunks are barely hanging on, but crazy amount of damage for that one. So really good to see there. And one more quick angle right there. You can really tell how big those cuts are. And right here, this one's pretty much going all the way down to the table. But pretty darn impressive for that 125 grain. So there we go. That one was the Doubletap 125 grain solid copper hollow point. All right, and here's that cross section for that 135 grain. So this one definitely did some, you know, pretty good damage too. Not as much as that 125, but still pretty impressive there. You can see those nice big splits. Same thing on this side. I did remeasure both of these, and they're peaking right at 3 inches. So not too bad at all. So let's cut it open. All right, and here's after being cut. So this bottom is the right, this top is the left. So you can see as soon as this one came in, started to open up. That one did have a really big hollow point cavity also, so it looks like it kind of tore a chunk out of that gel. But you can see that nice stretch going all the way through. It's dumping quite a bit of energy really fast in this one. And we did get quite a bit of fragmentation in this one also. There is a little bit of that cotton t-shirt kind of underneath some of those flaps. But same thing, just some really big cuts going on. Quite a bit of damage. So same thing on the top. Came in, opened up, nice stretch, and dumping a little bit more of that cotton t-shirt on this side. And same thing, kind of a little valley that it tore out. It wasn't going, you know, the fastest, or we didn't make it to advertise, but still moving out pretty good for that 135 grain. But pretty impressive stuff. So I'll do one more quick angle so you can see those nice big splits going on, and just how nasty that stuff really looks, especially with that cotton t-shirt that it drags in. But there we go, guys. That one was that 135 grain controlled expansion by Doubletap.